Hello everybody, welcome to DCS and this F18 air-to-air refueling tutorial. Just to kind of give you an idea what's going on here, we are currently heading to the tanker. There is, you'll hear some additional voices, those are from gameplay, for example, like right now.
I'm going to work my way left on the left side of this Tomcat.
And so in a multiplayer environment, there's actually 4 F-18s and 3 Tomcats. You can kind of see them as we're flying along. And what I'll do is I'll narrate to you as we get a little bit closer.
Turbulence up here now.
You're behind 4 tankers.
Pretty much.
So the goal here, of course, is to top up our tanks. And when you're dealing in a multiplayer environment, basically the way that we do it is each player does get a chance to refuel. What happens is you'll get up to the tanker, you'll go into a position on the left-hand side while you're waiting for a hose to open up. The way that DCS works is basically with this particular tanker, which is a KC 135, it does have 2 hoses available, which means that 2 planes can tank simultaneously. Of course, the challenge is making sure that you don't run into the other plane. That would be a bad thing. Also getting through the process as quick as possible to make sure that everybody does get a chance to fuel up before people are running out.
Inferno flights off to the left side of the Tomcat. Victory.
So you'll see here we are basically getting ready to get in position. And what you have is an F-14 is currently tanking up. We've got 2 F-14s basically getting ready. Myself and our commander. By the way, this is our squadron is statelyfe.com, STATELYFE. So if anybody is looking for the opportunity to fly with a group of people that are really passionate about what we do, we take it pretty seriously. You know, we try to emulate the real military sim as close as possible. This is a great place to try out. Now what you can do is you can go to our website, state, STATE, life, LYFE, .com, and put in your application. Oh boy, that was close. You can see I just about ran into him. You really have to pay attention when there's this many people around, because one moment you don't pay attention and then things can go real bad really quickly. But anyways, so we basically have 2 training sessions per year, basically beginning of the year and middle of the year. So we're going to have January 2020 coming up. We will start accepting new pilots. Now, basically what we ask for is that you at least, you know, you need certain modules. You need to have the F-18 or the F-14, the Harrier. We have a squad that has Harriers. You need to have a few maps like Nevada, which is this map right here, and Persian Gulf. Typically we do workup sessions in Nevada, and then we do our deployments in the Persian Gulf. But we do train you on how all this works. Me personally, when I started, I was pretty green. I couldn't fly formation. I couldn't do air-to-air refueling, and everybody went through the process, and you know, it was taught to us. You know, if this is what you'd love to do, it's a great opportunity to join in.
Texaco, torch fight, 2 F-18s, 1 mile in trail for refuel.
Okay, so what you just heard there was the second part of our squadron, and they're basically radioing into Texaco to let Texaco know that they're inbound. But not only does it let Texaco know that they're inbound, it lets the rest of the pilots know that there's another flight coming in that's going to be queuing up for to get gas, basically. So with that said, we're just going to wait a few moments here. We've got another radio call coming up in just a moment.
Transfer complete. Disconnect. All right, 2 inch call for the number 2 hose over there.
2.
All right, so I've been given clearance now to go in and fuel up. And so what we're going to do at this point is basically call up the tanker and let it know that I'm in and want to get some fuel. You have to do that, otherwise it won't give you the correct commands to basically get fuel. Now, in this particular case, I called the tanker. I didn't hear a response back from the tanker, so I'm going to do it again right now. Selecting tanker, Texaco, giving my intent to refuel. And now it's basically saying, yeah, you can come and get fuel. Please proceed to the pre-contact position. Now, the interesting thing about DCS is you have to get really close to get fuel. So you'll see here I put up my probe, and I'm going to slowly start moving in. Now, with air-to-air refueling, if you haven't done it, first of all, gotta be aware in a multiplayer environment, there's planes everywhere. So you'll see I've got an F14 off to the right. I've got an F14 off to the left. Can't do any sudden movements. You just have to kind of make a beeline in there. And you'll also notice here that there is a menu item that says ready pre-contact. What you have to do is you have to get in fairly close.
Ready pre-contact. Clear contact.
Say you're ready for contact, and now that hose is going to start coming out, and I can get some fuel. So you'll see the hose is coming out now, and this is where the really tricky part starts. So the whole thing about air-to-air refueling is it is something that you have to be, I guess the best way to describe it is you want to fly with like 2 fingers on your joystick. You have to be really, really small movements, because big movements you'll get into this oscillation. And you'll see even here as I'm coming up, I kind of lose it a little bit. I kind of miss the basket, and it doesn't take much to miss that basket. It's about as close to real as you can get. And so you'll see there I missed it, so I've got to kind of move back a bit, line myself up again, and then slowly work my way in. And just to give you an idea, I personally spent, probably 3 or 4 weeks when I started attempting to do air-to-air refueling. It took a while to do. It's definitely something that's a challenge, but boy, it's thrilling once you get it. And you'll see here now I've made a connection to the basket, and I am currently taking on fuel. So once you're connected, key thing is where you focus. You don't want to look at that basket. You want to look at, I tend to look at the pod to give me my sense of direction. If you look at the basket, what happens is you tend to get into this oscillation thing again, and then you will drop out of the basket, which isn't a good thing. So I do focus on that pod. I keep my eyes on there and really make small movements on the stick until basically I filled up with fuel. And you can't even really watch your progress of fueling. You just have to kind of keep at it until it's full. And depending on how much fuel you need, it's probably about 1,000 pounds of fuel per 30 seconds. I've never actually really timed it out, but it does take a while. 30 seconds is probably a little bit too long. I know 3,000 pounds you can probably get in a minute, but just staying connected for a minute is a challenge. So we're continuing to fill up here, and any moment now we should get that message. Transfer's complete. We have successfully fueled our plane, And now we can head off to continue on our mission. And basically at this point, the next pilot's going to come in. So just waiting for the other party of our flight to finish up with his fueling. After you finish fueling, basically you're going to move off to the right-hand side and get lined up there and wait for everybody else to go. And then you will basically head off and continue on your mission. Just kind of keeping an eye on everything. Got to keep looking. Make sure nobody runs into you. And you'll actually see here in a moment there was kind of an interesting situation because the flight right next to me, he had a bit of a VR issue. Now most of us are using VR that's why the video doesn't necessarily look super clear, because with VR it downgrades the resolution. But you'll see what happened there is I believe at this point, or pretty close to this point, he is going to basically lose control and kind of scoot underneath me. And that was there he goes. Yeah, he just kind of lost it. Doesn't take much. And at this point I could see him go underneath me. I heard his radio, or my radar altimeter went off, so I knew he was right below me. And then, of course, I don't want to go down, because if I go down, I'm going to run into him. Anyways, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.